Women's initiative Nannamata Nannahaku, which means my vote, my right, has submitted an urgent letter to Karnataka Chief Electoral Officer B. Anbukumar seeking written clarifications on the ongoing special intensive revision of electoral rules and the process of filling enumeration forms. The organization stated that the right to vote is a constitutional right under Article 326 of the Constitution of India and warned that unclear procedures and administrative errors could lead to the exclusion of eligible voters. It questioned the CEO Karnataka's statement that voters unable to map themselves to the 2002 electoral rules are the rarest of the rare. The organization claimed that many citizens who have voted for decades, including those having 2002 voter ID cards, cannot find their names in the old rolls. It also said many voters are unable to trace their parents' or grandparents' names in the 2002 records, making it difficult to provide any other 11 prescribed documents. The organization raised concerns over discrepancies in names, spellings, date of birth, gender, and other details, stating that lakhs of voters could be marked under logical discrepancies despite no clear definition of the term. It warned that voters unable to submit documents after receiving notices could face removal from electoral rolls. The letter highlighted that booth level officers are working under pressure due to inadequate training and unclear instructions. With only 2 weeks left in the enumeration phase, it said both BLOs and citizens lack proper written guidelines. The organization sought clarification on issues including progeny mapping for voters above 40 years, spelling differences during self-mapping, and the relationship field in enumeration forms. After consulting around 40 BLOs, it claimed there is no uniform understanding of the process. It also sought written confirmation on Joint CEO S. Yogeshwar Rao's reported statement that mapping can be done through paternal or maternal relatives and asked whether family names and EPIC numbers should match Aadhaar or other documents. The organization questioned the others category, referring to reports that 12.7 lakh voters were classified as others during SIR phases 1 and 2. It also pointed out that Karnataka's daily SIR report showed 2,980 voters under the same category and demanded clarity on the classification criteria. It further sought details on the digitization of enumeration forms, including the use of artificial intelligence or software, accuracy in processing handwritten Kannada forms, and transparency of the software system. The organization asked whether voters excluded from the draft electoral rules scheduled for 5th August 2026 would receive individual notices and sought clarity on procedures for voters marked as unmapped, absent, shifted, duplicate, dead, or others. It has demanded a 3-month extension of the enumeration phase, immediate publication of written guidelines, correction facilities for wrongly filled forms, functional voter facilitation centers, better BLO training, and urgent action to protect voting rights. The organization warned that failure to address these concerns before the end of the enumeration phase could result in the wrongful disenfranchisement of eligible voters.
We wrote to the Chief Electoral Officer Karnataka yet again today. This time we are highlighting with a certain sense of urgency because it is very clear that a lot of forms in Karnataka are being filled incorrectly. This has happened because of the complete absence of any written protocol or instructions that are either published on their website for public to see or to the BLOs. They have released short videos on their Instagram handle to indicate how to fill an enumeration form. But as we have highlighted and as thousands of voters on Twitter have asked queries and the confusion is very clear, there has been no response to clarify these things. So we wrote a letter collating the range of questions about how do we ensure accuracy in filling the enumeration form. Some places, for instance, in the mapping section of the enumeration form, some places they are saying if your name exists in 2002 roll, you do self-mapping, and then if it doesn't, then you do progeny. But some BLOs are saying if you're above 40 years of age, you cannot do progeny mapping and you can only do self-mapping. Now, this has again not been clarified in the public, and BLOs are refusing to take these enumeration forms, and we personally know these voters. Another question is on filling the details of the progeny. as in it should be my father, mother, grandfather, or grandmother. Now, in the section where we fill the progeny mapping, whose name comes first, there are mistakes that voters are making, there are mistakes that BLOs are making, and in that section, there's a field called relationship, sambandha. Now, what should we put there? Is it the relationship between the voter and the relative whose details we are mapping to? Or is it the relationship between the relative we're mapping to and their relative that exists in the 2002 voter roll? For instance, if I'm mapping to my grandmother, in the relationship section, should I say grandmother or should I say husband? Because in the 2002 voter list, it is her husband or my grandfather that exists as her relative. These are this particular question. We have spoken to at least 35-40 BLOs, and it's 50% of BLOs who are saying this answer, 50% saying the other answer. So it is very clear, at least this part of the form, 50% of Karnataka are filling it incorrectly, and we have spoken to BLOs not just in Bangalore but in other districts as well. The other thing we have highlighted in this memorandum is that the SIR, the Election Commission is operating with an assumption that every single person has all of the 11 documents. So in case there's a discrepancy, or they have at least one or two of the 11 documents, they think that in case there's a discrepancy, this person will be able to prove their eligibility by submitting that. The other thing they're assuming is that everybody has the digital literacy and access and literacy to understand how to navigate the ECI website, to search for their own details, to fill the enumeration form. These two assumptions have, it's also a deliberate choice that the ECI is making. It is not a coincidence that they are not giving clarity. It is a deliberate choice because the objective of SIR is not inclusion, it is disenfranchisement. For example, in the enumeration, the bottom part of the enumeration form, they're asking for date of birth, Aadhaar number, father, mother, and spouse's details. It is a very common occurrence that names of parents, spouses, and even date of birth, age, these things differ between documents for voters, especially in low income, low literate, marginalized communities. So we have highlighted a range of these, around 10 questions we have highlighted about demanding clarity about these things, and also demanding clarity about the next step. Now, if this is going to happen and if you're still not going to tell me what will lead to the flagging of logical discrepancy notices, what will the process be, where will the hearings be conducted, if I receive a notice, where do I go, is it only enough that I carry one of the 11 documents, is there another form to fill, do I need a lawyer, or can anybody, these are basic things if the objective of SIR was meant for inclusion of voters in electoral rolls.